I heard someone answer my phone before I picked it up. It started like any other late night at home. I was sitting at my kitchen table around 11:30, scrolling through my phone and finishing leftover pizzas straight out of the box. The TV in the living room was still on, low volume, just background noise. Nothing unusual. Same routine as most nights after work. My phone was lying face down next to my hand. Then it rang. But sudden. Unknown number. I reached for it, but before my fingers touched the screen, I heard a voice come through the speaker. A quiet voice. Just one word. Hello. The call ended on its own. The screen went black, and the phone stopped ringing like nothing had happened. After that night, the phone didn't stay quiet. It started happening again, but never the same way. Sometimes it would ring once and stop before I could even look at it. Sometimes the screen would light up without a sound, like a call was coming in but the ringtone was muted. Sometimes I'd just hear a faint vibration even when the phone wasn't moving. Always late at night. Always when everything else was silent. The apartment would go still before it happened. No TV noise, no cars outside, no neighbors walking around upstairs. Just that empty quiet that makes every small sound feel louder than it should. Then the phone would react. One short ring. Or a quick flash of the screen. Or that low vibration. Every time, I'd freeze for a second before moving. Heart beating a little faster, breathing slower without thinking about it. Like my body was trying not to make noise. I started watching the phone instead of picking it up right away. Waiting. Listening. The strange part was the feeling that came with it. Not fear exactly. More like someone standing too close behind me. Not touching. Just close enough to feel the space shrinking. Once, I picked the phone up immediately after it buzzed. The call screen was open. No number. No sound. Just a black background and the word connecting. I held it there for a few seconds, barely breathing. Then the screen went dark. And everything went quiet again. I tried to treat it like a phone problem. Software glitch. Network issue. Some weird bug that would fix itself after a few updates. That's what I kept telling myself every time it happened again. For a couple of days, I almost believed it. But sleep started getting weird. I'd go to bed tired and still wake up in the middle of the night for no reason. No noise, no notification, nothing obvious. Just my eyes opening like something had pulled me out of sleep. Most of the time I'd check the clock and it would be around 2 or 3 in the morning. Same window every night. Sometimes the phone would be on the nightstand exactly where I left it. Sometimes it would be on the floor. I blamed that on myself moving in my sleep. That made more sense. Still, I started waking up exhausted. Not the normal kind of tired. The kind where it feels like sleep didn't really happen, like the night passed too fast or too slow at the same time. Time during the day started feeling off too. Minutes dragging at work. Hours disappearing at home. I'd sit down for a few minutes and suddenly it was past midnight. Headaches showed up out of nowhere. Nothing strong. Just pressure behind my eyes that came and went. Sometimes a light ringing in my ears that faded after a few seconds. Stress. Too much screen time. Too little sleep. That's what I kept repeating in my head. I also started checking my phone more often without realizing it. Making sure the screen was off. Making sure there were no calls. Making sure everything looked normal. Locking the door twice before going to bed. Checking the windows. Small things. Nothing dramatic. But one night I noticed something that didn't sit right. The phone vibrated in the living room while I was in the bedroom. Like it was trying not to wake me. And that was the moment it stopped feeling like it only happened when I was nearby. At some point I stopped trying to ignore it and started looking things up. Not seriously at first. Just random late-night searches while sitting in the dark with my phone in my hand. Stuff like phone ringing by itself, hearing voice before answering, unknown calls at night. Normal curiosity. Most results were useless. Tech forums. Bug reports. People complaining about spam calls. But deeper down, After scrolling long enough, I started finding stranger things. Old threads, half-dead forums, posts from years ago with barely any replies. People describing phones ringing without numbers, hearing voices before answering, calls connecting with nothing on the other side, devices lighting up in empty rooms late at night. Different countries, different years, same kind of story, normal routine, random call, silence. Then it keeps happening, over and over. Buried in one of those threads, someone mentioned a name once. Phantom caller. No explanation. No long story. Just a warning in a short reply saying to never answer unknown calls that behave like that. I kept scrolling and noticed something uncomfortable. Almost every post stopped updating after a while. No follow-ups. No final message. Just silence after things started getting worse. And it became pretty clear that this pattern never really ended well. That's when it stopped feeling random. Up until then I kept thinking it was just bad luck mixed with a broken phone and too many late nights. But the more I thought about it, the more it started looking like something had been lining up perfectly with my routine. I live alone. I stay up late almost every night. I keep my phone close all the time, even when I don't need it. Most of my evenings are quiet, predictable, repetitive. Same apartment, same chair, same kitchen table, same silence after midnight. Not many people calling me, not many reasons for the phone to ring in the first place. It made me realize how easy it would be for something to slip into that routine without being noticed at first. And maybe it already had. I started changing small things without really planning to. Leaving the phone in another room more often. Keeping the TV on even when I wasn't watching it, just to fill the silence. Avoiding sitting in the kitchen at night because that's where the first call happened. I also stopped saying things out loud when I was alone. Even normal stuff like talking to myself or reacting to something on TV. It felt wrong, like anything spoken in an empty room was being heard by something else. Reflections started bothering me too. Phone screen, microwave door, dark windows at night. I'd catch myself checking them quickly and then looking away before thinking too much about it. Like my body didn't want confirmation of anything. The strange part is that fear slowly turned into routine. Checking the phone became normal. Listening for vibrations became normal. Avoiding silence became normal. And that's when something uncomfortable settled in. Getting used to it felt worse than being scared of it. The mistake happened on a quiet night when I was too tired to think. It was around 2:30 in the morning. I was sitting on the couch, phone in my hand, TV on but muted. Just staring at the screen without really paying attention to anything. Then it vibrated. Unknown call. No number again. I looked at it for a few seconds, already knowing I shouldn't touch it. That was the rule I had been following for weeks. Ignore it and wait for it to stop. But this time it didn't stop. The screen stayed on. The word connecting appeared again. Without thinking too much about it, I lifted the phone closer to my ear. Not answering. Just listening. A quiet breath came through the speaker. Slow, steady, familiar somehow. I didn't hang up. I just stayed there, holding the phone and breathing at the same pace as whatever was on the other side. And in that moment I understood something had crossed a boundary that couldn't be undone. I don't really track time the same way anymore. Days blur together. Nights feel longer, but I can't say why. Sometimes I check the clock and realize hours passed while I was just sitting there doing nothing. Other times the night disappears too fast and suddenly it's morning. The calls still happen. Not every night. Just enough to remind me they can. The phone lights up sometimes, even when it's across the room. I don't rush to check it anymore. I just look at it and wait for the screen to go dark again. It usually does. Silence doesn't bother me the way it used to. The quiet feels normal now. Like background noise that never leaves. I still keep the phone close. Still listen for vibrations. Still wake up at the same time most nights.